welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita Rocker, speaker, author, trainer with SoaringHigher.rocks, and just really excited to share a program with you today to really help build our lives forward as everything is so crazy nowadays. And so we're going to go again. I'm going to do some more information out of my book, Hope at the End of Your Rope, Steps to Rebuild Your Life, because it has a lot of really good information and also ways that a lot of exercises in it that you can use to help transform your life. So this is about the 3 R's, which are revival, restored, release, and rebuild. And so, we all have the power within us to be revived and restored, which really means bringing life back to consciousness again. Sometimes it feels like, well, we know what happens if somebody is literally knocked unconscious. But then a lot of times the things that happen to us in our world, we do feel kind of unconscious because maybe we get into brain fog, we don't know what to do, we're kind of in a big mess, I'll say. And so being revived and restored means to be able to bring us back into a consciousness to life again. And I'm working on that now, and I know a lot of other people are too, to go forward in spite of what you're hearing on the news, which I don't watch anymore. But then also it means to regain strength and energy. And so that's some things that we need nowadays. To release, which means to be set free from whatever it is that maybe has caused us a lot of issues, a lot of angst, whatever the case may be. And also to rebuild. And because of things that happened in my life, again, recently, I am rebuilding, and I know a lot of you are too, and you want to rebuild, but I'm thinking, no, we don't want to just rebuild back to where we were. We want to go beyond that, to build what was damaged and destroyed. And so I want you to think of an upgrade, rebuild by upgrading and remodeling. When you see some place, or like you're looking at a new apartment or a house, and oh, they remodeled it, it's beautiful. Well, that's what I want you to think about with your life. Remodel, upgrade it, not just go back to where it was before situations maybe in the last few years, held everything up. But think of upgrade and remodel. I love that thought because it puts us in a higher thought realm for the plans that we need to make. And so, soaring up to wholeness is something that I've talked about before, to burst out of that cocoon that maybe has held us back with all the conditions that have been on us in the world, and grab our personal rope and take flight. And I've talked about the rope before because that is so important. We have that rope, hope at the end of your rope, because sometimes we feel like we're at the end of our rope. I know I have several times, and I know probably most of you have, and it's like, where do I go from here? What do I do? I don't even know. I'm just kind of hanging on by a thread. And that's, you think about a rope, yes, it's jute, could be wire, it could be plastic, whatever the case may be, but just one strand of that rope doesn't give us enough strength. But we get synergy, and we build it up into a thick, strong rope by adding other people to it, other situations. And so think about that, the rope and the synergy, because it could be, first of all, with me, I know it's like God is my strength. He is my source. He is my rope, my main rope to hang on to. And certain people, we don't want people on our rope, in our rope, that will cause it to be all frayed, will cause it to be all wonky. Those are the times we have to pull out those people and not let them be something that will hurt the synergy. So, okay, I'm going to be talking a lot about choices. And so think of the ones who will be good for you, for your synergy, for your strength, that will be good in that respect. And then, just opportunities that come along. My church has been wonderful, and it's really helping a lot of people. That can be part of a rope as well to pull you up. Organizations, life and career organizations. I mean, sometimes it just helps to, I think of groups like Youth Emergency Services and some of those. When we're down, what do we need to do? We need to go out there and help other people who are hurting. And that will build us up and give us a lot more character and strength too. Tomorrow I'm going to be working with some people at a nursing home, because so many of them think by that age, and I understand, I'm older, that, well, I don't have anything to offer anymore. I'm too old. And I told a lady who was I think she was about 75 a few years ago. She said, well, I don't have anything to offer. I'm too old. And I said, oh, no. I said, you have so many life experiences. Use those. You can help people to overcome and avoid so many of the pitfalls because you've been there. You've done that. You've experienced things. So please never think that you're too old to be effective, to be helpful, to impact other people's lives, because that is just not true. We have so many experiences when we're older that we need to share with other people. And so your power, because you have power, is really in your ability to respond to the situation. So we have to stop and think, how am I going to respond to this situation? Somebody said something to me that was mean, or somebody did something that wasn't kind, or somebody betrayed me, or did something behind my back, or somebody took something that really should have been mine. And so how do we respond? That's when we can't just act and just flip off and act some way. We have to think, okay, how am I going to respond to this in a way where I'm going to overcome, I'm going to be positive, I'm moving forward, and I am not going to let my response be something that's willy-nilly crazy. No, I'm going to think about how do I respond. And sometimes we have to stop and think about that before we react to a person or say something or write something or whatever the case may be. So think about, how am I going to respond to this one? So let your spiritual muscles become stronger and be the source to gain new life. You know, in the opening of my program, one of the pictures in there is of a phoenix. And I love that story because it's a mythical bird, so to speak, that got hit and the phoenix just dropped to the ground and burned to ashes. Okay, a lot of us have felt that way, that we have also been knocked down and burned to ashes. However, this phoenix rose and soared up again and came up. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do that are having issues with all kinds of, tough things in your life. You're a phoenix. You can be restored. You can rise up. You can go forward. And I've seen it in so many other people as well as myself. So think about, what do I need to do to rise up? Maybe it's like been going out to I know a couple gals that's like going to the bars, getting drunk constantly, and it's like, no, that's not how you rise up. That's escaping. That is hiding. That's the opposite of what needs to be done to rise up and go forward again. And so think about habits, daily habits. What's going on, with alcohol, with watching TV all night, getting nothing else done, overeating with a bag of chips the whole night. I mean, I've done that before, so I understand it. But think about that, and then God can and will establish your steps. I'm praying a lot of that lately, especially to really establish my steps as I go forward again in life. And so think about the paths during your lifetime and the choices that you've made that have put you where you are now. Because, again, we can think, well, why am I in the same spot I was in 20 years ago? Because of the path that continues to be walked on that is just, well, I don't know what else to do. I don't think I'm worth anything else. There's nobody to help me, whatever the case may be. But no, literally sit down and think about, what is the path that I've been walking on, and what kind of choices have I been making because of going down that particular path. The choices that have impacted my life dramatically. Settling for people, settling for things that I guess that's all I deserve. I don't know any better, or how you grew up, and maybe negative things were said, and so it's like, okay, I guess these are the choices I'm going to make. I'm just going to sit here and let life happen to me. No, so, one of the most important things to do is sit down and literally write down situations in your life, and then, wow, okay, this is literally the choice I made. To stay with this person or to stay with this job and not risk any kind of failure by competing for a particular job I wanted, even though I'm good at that particular skill. No, think about the choices. It's critical. It can really steer your life in a whole new direction from there on out. And, just guilt, feeling badly about things. I've always been poor. I've always been unhappy. So why should I ever think I could be wealthy or have somebody that really cares about me? Well, that's the kind of attitude that will keep us stuck in that place. So think about those attitudes and choices and what you have allowed. I have allowed tons of negative things in my life, but I allowed it. You know, there are things that we can't control in families and finances and things, but so many times we can control those choices. So what are you thinking? What are you doing with it? You know, I remember again in second grade one time the teacher had me read something, the word ADD, and I kept saying and she kept saying no, it's, you know, and she mocked me so much in front of the class. To this day, I hate math. I'm okay at it, but I don't like it just because of this little seed like that planted when you're a little kid. I remember in third grade, I was a nice, quiet little girl. I was very shy, and yet the teacher, for some reason, did not seem to like me, and it was obvious. And then I did the SAT test that we did back then in third grade, and I got a 97%. And I thought, oh, I guess I'm not stupid after all. And she started treating me totally differently because of my SAT. So whatever impressions I was giving to her before were just building and feeding on that. So people treat us the way we treat ourselves. And so obviously I wasn't treating myself very well, and so she wasn't either. But she completely changed once she saw that score and thought, okay, she's not stupid. So think about that. But the adversity that knocks wind out of your sails, it could be an illness, a death of a loved one, it could be a horrible betrayal, you know, but again, what are the choices we're going to make? When my late husband, way back when, and I was in the I was the current Mrs. Nebraska at the time and had gone to the Mrs. America pageant, and he was dying and he was very sick, and I spent 6 weeks at City of Faith Hospital down in Oklahoma City, and didn't even have a place to stay. I had to just stay in his room. That was really hard, and there were so many times I thought, you know what, God, did you leave me? I just feel forsaken. I'm down here by myself. I knew a couple that was down there visiting for a little bit that I got to see, but it's like, what? And then it was like I just heard this, you know, this too shall pass. So when I see people sometimes, and maybe somebody broke up with a partner and the partner was so devastated that they literally end their lives. And it's like, no, these trials will pass. These too shall pass. So when you get into a spot where it's like, I don't know what to do anymore, I can't deal with this anymore, no, this too shall pass. So you walk through it, you hang on and you walk through it to the other side. That is so, so important to do that. And so, again, as you're dealing with that, but I keep repeating this, we have to replace those things that have torn us down in order to get wind back on our sails. And it's sometimes, well, I'd like to do this new thing, I'd like this new job. Well, what is in your life? Because you can only fill up a life or a bottle or anything to the top. And so when you want new things to come into your life, you have to remove old things in order to have room for those new things to come in. So think about that. That is so important in every way. And, you know, just really look at yourself through God's eyes. So many times when I have felt like a failure, I said, please, Father, help me see myself through your eyes. And I want to encourage you to do that if you really feel down on yourself. Lord, help me see myself through your eyes, because what he will show you, if you're quiet and you do it and you listen, he will actually show you how you look through his eyes as his beautiful son or daughter, as someone who's very well loved and that he wants to be with and work with you and help you to overcome and go forward. So if you do that, I guarantee you, you will start seeing a different view of you that can really transform your life and give you hope. So always ask him to let you see yourself through his eyes, but then also help you to see someone else through his eyes, someone else that's hurt you in some way or done something, and there's this unforgiveness, and it's like, Father, I need to see this person through your eyes and get rid of this angst, this bitterness, this hatred, this unforgiveness, whatever it is, because it's not hurting that person, but it's hurting you. And I saw someone recently, not in person, but through a program that I felt deeply had hurt me last year, and you know, it's just a bad situation. And I thought, Lord, you know what? I still have some unforgiveness towards him and his wife for some things that happened. And I said, please forgive them through me and let me just move forward. So he's really helping with, and we have to do that, because unforgiveness will only do one thing: it will destroy us. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it or to wilt away from it. No, we're the ones. So think about who might be in your life that there's unforgiveness for. It has to be removed so you're free. You are set free. Then you can be able to go forward and do fun things and meet new people. But that unforgiveness can just hold you down unless you get rid of it once and for all. But God will help you to do that. And He can, and it's worked several times. And then you're free. Think of that word free. It's a wonderful word. And so I want you to do that. So, and then visualizing the things that you want to do. We think, well, I can't learn to fly a plane. I can't get this job. I mean, yes, I love that kind of work, but I can't get this kind of job. I can't live in a home like that. I mean, look at how I grew up. Look at the car I've had to drive. I can't do that. Why not? You know, I've done that. I grew up poor. I had a lot of things going on in my life. However, when you sit and visualize, which we have to do in order to transform our brain into actually drawing the good things to us, you have to do that and sit and think about it. But the thing is, it doesn't cost you a penny. It's like, well, how can I do this? I don't have any money. You don't have to have any money to visualize, to make plans in your mind, to write down plans no matter how much they don't make sense to where you are at this time in your life. It doesn't cost a cent. It takes time. And stop thinking, oh, I can't do it. No, you visualize. It doesn't cost anything. Visualize yourself being stronger, having a makeover, taking some classes, doing some things, meeting new people. Visualize yourself walking into a room with confidence like you've never had before. Again, it doesn't cost a penny. It just takes time to think about that. There are so many people that have succeeded are because they spent the time to retrain their brain, because our brain is plastic, neuroplasticity. Our brain is plastic. We can change it. They took the time to do that, to visualize, to think about it, until they couldn't even accept that old stuff anymore. Why? Because they can't even think that way anymore, because their brains have been retrained. You know, I would suggest even looking at programs on the brain and neuroplasticity. It's amazing how you can totally reform your life by doing those things where your brain starts thinking in a different way. So your behaviors follow in that way. It's amazing. So think about that. You can look that up. You can study it. I've been spending most of my time when I am watching TV with educational programs, motivational programs, ones that are really helping to train the brain, go forward, be confident, learn new skills, whether it's communication, a lot with health, whatever the case may be. Do that, and maybe just watch one program a night if you want, but spend time on things like that that are really productive and helpful for you. So, you know, anytime there's a longing or a tugging on your heart, that probably means that God is the one who put that longing, that dream in your heart. And if it never goes away, I would say yes. You know, sometimes it's, I'm going to be this way. I'm going to do what that person does. I'm going to be rich and do blah, blah, blah. Okay, do you know if God has anything to do with that? Is that your own plan? Because He will put desires into your heart that we can push them down. We can say, nah, I don't want to do that. But we can push them down. But if God's put a desire in your heart, especially from a young age, that's from Him. And He will give you the steps to go forward and do that, and to meet the right people. I mean, I've been praying for new connections with people, new opportunities, not only for finances, but for networks of people, sometimes just for friends and different things. And as you do that, you'll see that He will bring those to you if you trust Him for it. So always think about that, and just the visualizing, the doing, the working on it. But it takes time. It's not sitting there watching, you know, brainless, most of it's yucky anyway, TV stuff. It's things that will actually help you. Sometimes it might be fun just to take a book and go to a coffee shop if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling like, oh gosh, I just need to be around people, I don't know what to do. Get a book or read something on YouTube. Go get some coffee out where you're with people instead of just being hunkered down at home and feeling lonely. That can really help too. So, you know, in Proverbs 29:18, it says, without a vision, the people perish. That's true, because there's that old saying, he who aims at nothing shall surely hit it every time. That's so true. If we don't aim at anything that's productive, that's fruitful, that's good, then we just take whatever life throws at us every day. And a lot of that's not so nice. And so think, without a vision, people perish. So start aiming. What do you want to aim for? If we aim at nothing, that's what we continue to get, nothing. And so think about that. Aim. What is your desire? What is your goal? What has God put in your heart? What are you good at? What do you have fun at? What do you feel is very rewarding for you? What do you feel can also help impact the lives of other people by what you do? It could be just helping somebody with their finances. It could be helping do some care for a loved one they have in exchange for helping them with their bank account or their cooking or their laundry, whatever the case may be. But think of those things that you can do while you're growing, while you're learning. And so the jobs, experiencing, any training that you have, and the specific steps. You know, it takes work. And that's the thing, a lot of times maybe we don't want to put the work out, we don't know what to do, and we think, oh, why bother? No, it takes work, but it's worth it, and you'll see your life transform. I cannot believe how many programs I've seen of people whose lives were just horrible, absolutely horrible, and literally some of the most powerful ones, you know, drug addicts, sleeping in the, like Kim Clement and different ones, literally sleeping in the gutters, and drug addicts, and they were down and out, and they were homeless, and now it's like, my gosh, look what happened to them. You know, some of them are in international programs, international ministry, doing so many things that totally help people transform their lives because they got out of the gutter. And so we can do that too. And avoid fear. You know, fear is an acronym, F-E-A-R, for false evidence appearing real. And so many times it's like, well, this is real. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to go out and do this. I mean, I've done that. I remember even when I ran for Mrs. Nebraska, I wanted to do it. But my husband was sick, and I thought, well, I don't know what to do. And, well, what if I lose? I'm going to feel like such a loser if I compete and then I don't get it. Well, you know, we never get anywhere unless we step out in, faith and be brave and try something. So sometimes, people are good at a sport, but they don't want to compete because, well, maybe I'll be third. These people are probably a lot better than I am, and so we're afraid, so we don't do it. But the way you learn and you grow and you take the steps forward is you get out there. You learn how to pitch better. You learn how to throw better. You learn how to pick up that violin and really learn how to do it. So it takes time. It takes effort. But think about actions and behaviors from fear that have kept you. I mean, I've had fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success, and abandonment, like all my life. And so those are the kind of fears you have to get rid of because they're self-destructive and they're not going to get you anywhere. So think about that and kick fear in the fanny because that's where it needs to go. So failure, rejection, abandonment, any of those, it's like, no, they're gone. They're gone from now on. It's like, well, I can't win, I can't do this, I can't conquer this issue that I'm dealing with, so I'm never going to be vulnerable again. I'm never going to let anybody hurt me again. I'm going to be a loner. Because if I'm a loner, then nobody has the opportunity to hurt me. If I get in a relationship with somebody, I'm going to back out, even if it's a good relationship. Why? Because I don't want them to reject me, so I'm going to reject them first. That could be the loss of maybe something that was really good. Well, if people are going to say snippy things to me, I'm just going to get mean. I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to get mean. No, those are the kind of things that fear will cause us to do in order to avoid a situation. And so think about that. Again, it's choices. It's our responsibilities. What are we doing? And so, has someone else sabotaged you by their own fear? Because a lot of times, somebody's afraid maybe they'll lose you or they won't have you around to take for granted, whatever the case may be. And so what do? They sabotage. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, don't go there. No, you need to be here. You need to do this for me, okay? So then you start realizing, you know what? This whole relationship has been about what I can do for this person. Now I'm going to start looking out after me. Now, and that's a huge step when you can get beyond somebody being controlling, whether it's a job, family, whatever, and go, no, my turn. So that's the way it's going now. And that is huge. That is really huge. And so the big question is, what must be removed to go down a new path? So again, I recommend just literally sitting down with a pad and paper when it's quiet and thinking, okay, what needs to be removed? All right, this particular friendship is causing problems. They always want me to go out and party and drink. They want to, come over late at night, whatever the case may be. You know what? That has to be removed because I can't get beyond that situation to where I need to go. So something that has to be removed, some sort of a habit that needs to be removed in order to go forward. And so always think about those things and be honest, what is holding me back? If you sit there literally and think, what's holding me back? Wow. Things will start popping into your head and go, okay, with this person, this situation, this is what's happened. Okay, I think that one needs to go. What else is holding me back? Could be something with finances. Well, I never had an opportunities before, but you know what? That attitude is holding me back. I have to get rid of that so I can pull new things in there. So literally think of everything that's happened to you so you're not where you want to go. Yeah, that held me back. Bye. So that's another one. So always think about that. If someone else has sabotaged your fears, time to go. And so just the big question again is, think about that, think about your choices, think about your paths, really sit down and think about it and focus on it really hard and then start writing, column left and right. This is what's happening. This is what I'm going to do about it. It's gone. All right? So think fear, anger, intimidation, unforgiveness, all of those. Bye. And move forward. Visualize. It's a really important step. And ask God to be with you all the way and guide you because He's right there. Okay? Thank you so much. I'll continue this on the next program.